Okay, so I made a skill tree system here that I think could be a decent idea. It doesn't have to be super in depth, but if you think about it, if a skill system, if every single skill in the game had something similar to this, it would open up a lot of options on top of having a talent tree and itemization and whatnot. So let's say you were the druid and you were using that ability that turns you into a werewolf and you were attacking. I don't remember what it was called, but let's just say it's called Wolf Claw. And you put a point into Wolf Claw, and after you put a point into that, you get to choose from one of these starting nodes here. So you can either pick Ferocious, which gives you each time you attack, you gain 2% attack speed, stacking 3 times. Or Resilient, each time you attack, you gain 2% damage reduction to melee attack, stacking 3 times. Or each time you attack, you gain 2% movement speed, stacking 3 times. These numbers are all trivial. I was just pulling them out of my arse. And so once you get 5 points into one of these, you could move on to the next one. So for Ferocious, you could get Relentless, where it gives you just stacking physical damage. Or you could get Tenacious, which gives you a stacking chance to block ranged and melee attacks. Or you could get Ghost, which gives you a stacking dodge chance. And the idea here is that you would never get enough points to get to the last skill of a certain tree here and also get more stuff within the tree. You'd have to pick or choose. So if I wanted to get Relentless, but I also wanted to get Tenacious, well, then I could never get to the last point of the tree. I'd have to make the decision as to what I deemed important to my build. Otherwise, I'd have to commit and put the full 10 points in, and say if I wanted to go with a Blee build, I'd just go with Bloodthirsty. And, at max stacks of Ferocious, my claw will bleed for 50% of the damage dealt as extra damage over 8 seconds. Or if I wanted to go with a more defensive route with my Wolf Claw ability, or just my Druid overall, I could go with Pack Leader. And at max stacks of Resilient, gain a 10% chance on attack to let out a howl, stunning any non-magical enemies in a 10-meter radius for 2 seconds. And the cool thing about this is you could get items to alter these things. So down here, I didn't come up with a name for this last one, but if you went down the route of like your mobility for your druid for this particular ability, at max stacks of Swift, your movement abilities will leave a decoy of yourself behind, taunting enemies for 5 seconds. All of this stuff can be altered with legendary items, and it could completely change how you build your character. So say I decided to go down this route and I had the decoy. So every time now I use my movement ability, whatever that might be, which I think for the druid on the stream, the one that they showed was you charging in werebear form. So every time you decided to use that ability, you would charge, you would leave a decoy of yourself behind for 5 seconds, taunting. Well, what if I found a legendary, and let's just say, I don't know, let's just say this last one is called Nimble. Let's say we find a legendary boots or something that say, your Nimble ability, the decoy left behind by your Nimble ability now explodes, dealing 200% weapon damage as fire, or something like that, or whatever. So now the way that you've spec'd into this one ability, and with that one legendary, you could decide to try to make an entire build off of just that one thing. And maybe I want to just charge around in werebear form, leave my decoy behind, and it explodes. I mean, there's just so much more you could do with this. Say this Pack Leader one. Well, the howl, the 10% chance you have to let out a howl stunning any non-magical enemies. Well, maybe there's a legendary in the game that makes it so that howl works on magical enemies. There's I feel like an infinite amount of depth you could create with just a small system like this. And I don't think it would take that much more effort for the developers to put that in. I mean, call me up. I will gladly send you guys ideas all day long for free. I think there's plenty of people that would like to do that.